Welcome to Bandofla. You're watching or listening to episode 61. My name is Fevzi Hussein and I'm your host. Okay, so we've been talking, I've been mentioning one of my loves, Arsenal, for quite a few of the previous episodes, and we've said we'll get around to doing an episode dedicated on the Arsenal and what's happened this year. And I've got um, two absolutely fanatical supporters. One is here in London, and the other one is in Cyprus. I've got Ahmet Suleiman. Ahmet is the founder of a group on Facebook called Arsenal. He's been going for 60 seasons. I know he doesn't look old enough, but Ahmet is the veteran of almost 2,000 games. Ahmet, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Fevzi. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, and the flip side of Ahmet, our second guest, Aydan Nevzat. Aydan was born literally a few days after the Invincibles achieved that remarkable thing which no one has ever achieved. Aydan, you were born literally a week or so after we lifted the league, going through the whole season unbeaten, wasn't you?
Yeah, exactly. It was 21st of May,
Wow.
2004.
Okay, and you join us from Cyprus. Thank you for finding time, conscious of the time difference. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, so
Thank
I think
you so much. Thanks for
no worries. You're both very welcome. I guess the first place to start, this season's been quite a remarkable season for quite a few reasons. I don't know what your expectations were at the beginning of the season, but you know, there's been so many memorable moments for Arsenal fans to look back and reflect on. So I think one of the best places to start really is one, you know, what was your expectations right at the beginning of the season, and how do you think, you know, how do you think the club did? Ahmet, I'm going to start with you on that one.
Yeah, my expectations were generally like most people. I've always been an Arteta fan. I believe in what he's doing, he's achieving. I'm one of the very few people that have always been backing Kroenke as well. I know through my experience of American sports, the system that was changing from the Hillwoods of the old English, the old port drinking Hillwoods, to the brash, if you like, Kroenkes, who are very successful at the moment. The Nuggets are about to win the NBA Finals, for instance. He's already won Super Bowl. He's already won the Stanley Cup. He's about to win the NBA Finals as well. And Arsenal are the fourth one. We've come second this year. Slowly but surely, this will happen. We are in no hurry at all to do this, to build a system like Manchester City have sped through that with obviously more money, and they're obviously several steps in front of us. So beginning of the season, like everyone else, fourth position, maybe a cup. We didn't do too well in the cups, to be honest with you, and that was because of the squad, I feel. But my expectations at the beginning of the season was, let's qualify for the Champions League. Let's get Arsenal back to where we belong. We belong there. There's no doubt about it. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Of course, it could have been better. You know, of course it could have been better. But we're up against a juggernaut. So at the moment, we're doing nicely. Thank you very much.
We'll come on to that a little bit later, Ahmet, in terms of, you know, everyone really believed, I think, that it was going to be a really special season.
Yeah.
Until the wheels came off a little bit.
I
mean, in terms of, obviously, you've been following the club closely as well, from abroad. What's been your most kind of memorable moments, your most memorable takeaway from this season?
Uh, so for me, I think it has to be uh, a couple of our performances in some of the big games. So you're looking at the North London derbies. I think both games we were outstanding. I mean, Thomas Partey's goal in the first game, uh, which I believe was the home game, and then
Yeah.
the away game in January, where we haven't got a result at their ground in quite a while, and to get a clean sheet as well, a comfortable, confident performance. I think the North London derbies have to be up there, along with the game against Man U at the Emirates, the 3-2 in Nketiah last minute, and the Liverpool home game where Martinelli scored in the first minute. I think I'd have to say just actually getting a few good performances against some big teams to show that we are here to make a name for ourselves as title contenders. And okay, we had a dip in performances for the last few years, but now with this young squad, young manager, intelligent manager, we're ready to push again. And I think I couldn't agree with more with what Ahmed Tabi said about the Kroenkes and how we're not in any rush and how we belong in the Champions League.
Mm. Yeah, good point, Saidan. Ahmed, what do you think's changed? I mean, obviously we had a bit of a reputation for not doing well against the so-called top six. I saw a stat a couple of years ago before, or just when Arteta took over, and I think we only won one out of about 18 games, and I think we drew a couple, but we were really struggling to convert those matches into 3 points. Apart from Manchester City this year, who obviously beat Arsenal twice, I think Arsenal's record against
Three times
and the FA Cup.
up as well.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate.
Yeah.
I think we've managed to get quite a few wins against the so-called sort of big six or even the big four. What do you think the difference has been this year?
I think the main difference is we've got quality now. We've got young quality on the wings. It's Saka and Martinelli. At a point in the season, they were untouchable, and obviously with the defense, Saliba and Gabriel in the middle were outstanding. Although we've been struggling. I mean, Zinchenko was doing well early 2/3 of the season. He was doing really well. And on the right back, obviously, Ben White is not a right back, but at times Ben was outstanding as well. So we had a solid back four. We had Xhaka and Partey in the middle, and obviously Odegaard pulling the strings. And then up front, of course, I think it's just that we've got quality there. In the latter years of Wenger, and obviously from then onwards, we've been in transition. So these teams have been taking advantage of us. And at the moment, I think we're back. The main thing that I like about this season that's just finished, Arteta has got the fans and the team as one. The last time I saw that, and Fevzi, you were around for that one as well, was when George Graham came in.
Yeah.
And the boys in the team and the boys on the terraces were as one. In all my years, and as you say, 60 seasons, this just finished my 60th season. This season, the way that the fans were, it's the best ever. I've been in the North Bank, I've been in the Clock End, singing my heart out of both places. But this season at Arsenal, Arteta is, with the little touches he's done in the stadium as well, with Wenger coming at that one match, and then other bits and pieces. If you walk around the stadium, you're going to see photos and caricatures of legends. He's given Arsenal back to the fans. We are all proud to be Arsenal fans again. Not that I never was, but some people. Yeah, so I think that experience and then Arteta's togetherness with the fans has been very much to the fore of what Arsenal have achieved this year. And we have achieved. We haven't won a cup. Of course, we're not stupid. We know that. But you don't have to win a cup to achieve. So we've achieved. We're now at a certain standard now that we now have to upkeep. So let's see what the new season brings.
Yeah, I think Arteta summed it up beautifully at the end of the season when he was speaking to the
Yeah,
crowd. I was at
yeah.
that game against
When
Wolves.
they let him sing, but we
Yeah,
were all singing.
absolutely.
Uh,
But he said the connection, the soul has reconnected with the club.
yes,
Club soul has reconnected with the
100%.
fans, and I get really emotional actually.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a soppy git at the best of times. But I do. I mean, when you're in the stadium and everyone's singing North London Forever, Lewis's song.
Isn't that one of the pluses of the season?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just the atmosphere. I'm like, even in the upper tier, like it used to be like people will just not engage, and everyone is up on their feet,
Yeah.
shouting, screaming. It's a completely different DNA at the club. It's
I,
beautiful.
I, I was speaking, and I'm going to name drop. I was speaking with Louis Dunford, who wrote, obviously, North London Forever. And I actually said to him, that song is not just for Arsenal, it's for people like me. I used to go with my father. My father was Arsenal nuts, or Hyundai, the Arsenal fan. Everyone knew Hyundai. And every time I hear that song, I get emotional. I think of my dad. I went to 900 matches with my father. That's
Wow.
nuts. That's nuts. So that song and that we've now got an anthem. We've been looking for an anthem all these years. Good old Arsenal, good old Arsenal. It really wasn't there, but this boy has done something. So I thanked him a lot. He's a good lad as well.
Good, good. I mean, what's your take on that, Idan? It's quite special, isn't it? That atmosphere that there is at the club. I'm sure it comes across strongly when you're viewing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you see it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go to a game this season, but even on TV, you see it. You see it even in Cyprus, and I think all over the world. Sorry, I think all over the world, all Arsenal fans really feel that unity and that same sort of unity that you guys would have experienced at the stadium. I mean, even watching, Arteta's speech that you guys were talking about at the Wolves game, just, on TV. I mean, I was getting goosebumps, so I couldn't imagine being at the stadium. So I really think he's done a great job at bringing everyone together this season. Definitely.
Cool. And staying with you, Idan, who do you think is Arsenal's most improved player this season?
Oh, tough question. I think most improved I'd have to give to Granit Xhaka. I think not just only his playing style, but his character. I mean, we all know what happened a couple of seasons ago when he got subbed off when he was captain, I believe, for that game, and he got stripped of his captaincy. And I mean, now I would have happily. I mean, I love Odegaard as a captain, but I would have happily seen Xhaka wearing the band too.
It's a remarkable turnaround, isn't it? From
And it's a shame that it looks like he's going to be on his way.
mm, there's a lot.
Unbelievable, and it makes me really happy because I always backed him.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that he's played his last game, which would be a shame. But you're right; it's a incredible turnaround to the vitriol that he faced from Arsenal fans.
Well,
Uh,
if I can just butt in, I was at that game when he walked off in a huff. And I never wanted to see him play in an Arsenal shirt ever again. I'll be truthful with you. Now, a lot of people got the wrong end of the stick with that one because we were losing.
yeah,
And when our sub came on, he was walking off very slowly. So the fans started, me as well, probably, I can't remember. Everyone would say, come on, hurry up, girl, get off. He got the wrong end of the stick. He thought we were booing him. We were not booing him. And when he went off like that, it was a misunderstanding. He's gone off, and I never wanted to see him in an Arsenal shirt again. But I'm bloody glad he played this season because he was phenomenal. I'll take all of that back. I don't mind being wrong, but fair play to the man that he produced this season as a leader as well. I think he was our leader this season. Fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he came very close to getting a hat trick on What's
Yeah,
probably going to be
yeah.
actually he should have
He
scored a
was nearly
hat
there.
trick.
He was nearly there.
So, who do you think is the most improved player, Ahmet, in your
Well,
eyes?
I'm a sucker for our Highland boys, and not sucker, but Saka. Bukayo Saka. I love him. I love him. He, everything he does on and off the pitch epitomizes what a number 7 shirt playing for Arsenal does. I would go for Saka, Bukayo Saka. Odegaard was voted the Arsenal Player of the Year by the fans, and we can see that. And of course, as Aidan says, Granit Xhaka can't really fault him either. But I would go for Bukayo Saka.
Okay. And who do you think was? I don't want to be on a negative one because it's been such a brilliant
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
But I think there's been one or two players who possibly haven't excelled the way that we would have wanted them to
yeah,
excel. I know one or two names spring to mind, but
yeah.
um,
I'll tell you one name, and he's better than that. Is Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey could run the game, but towards the end of the season, when we really needed him to stand up and be counted, I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see. To be honest with you, which is a shame because I'm a big Thomas Partey fan, and he could be the leader, but he just didn't seem to be able to carry that on.
I I thought Thomas was one of our best players actually this season.
Yeah,
When he
two
bossed the game, he
two-thirds
absolutely
of the
bossed it.
season.
You
Yeah,
know. What
yeah.
about you, Aidan? Who do you think was a little bit of a disappointment in your eyes?
Um, I see. Towards the end of the season, yeah, Thomas Partey did let us down a little bit, but I think I'd have to say, and not for his actual performances, but more for the role he was brought in to do, or what I think he should have been brought in to do. I'd have to say Gabriel Jesus. Now, I think he was great as that playmaker role, to play those short passes to keep the ball in the box, but I think what we were lacking, and I think what we still are lacking, is that clinical finisher, someone who's just gonna put the ball away. Like
Yeah,
Aubameyang did in his
yeah,
prime at Arsenal.
Mm.
Um, Jesus has played a role similar to what Lacazette was doing a few years ago. I think we needed something slightly different to that.
true. I agree.
Yeah, I think Jesus brought something brilliant to the team when he was playing before the World Cup. It was Arsenal fans were so excited with what he
Yeah,
brought to the team. But I think you're right, Aidan. He's not an out and out goal scorer. Very debatable if Eddie Nketiah is the person as well. He's more a fox in the box sort of poacher. But he's had a bit of a run, and I think Eddie's done a job. But I think we need, if we're going to challenge Manchester City, we need real quality up front.
yeah.
So I think you're both right there. Um, Ahmet, you go to every home game. Who do you think is the best away fans to visit the Emirates?
What this season?
Yeah, or generally, but this year.
Generally, in the European nights, some of the Greek teams, some of the Eastern European teams, some of the French teams. Yeah, they'll come here. The Italians, yeah, they're usually up for it. Was it? I think it's Olympiacos that came to us a few years ago. They were amazing. They really were amazing. Yeah, a few. Cologne as well. That's right. When Cologne came here.
Oh, they brought about 10,000, didn't
Yeah, well, not all of them got in, of course.
they?
Not all of them got in, but they bloody well tried because the game was delayed for an hour. It's never
What
happened.
about Premier League though? Because there's one or two.
Premier League. Oh, who could? There were some good ones, weren't there?
I like
Who did
Crystal
the game?
Palace.
I would imagine someone like Newcastle.
Yeah, Geordies.
Always.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
the
Palace have
George.
got a really good. They've got an
Palace
outfit.
have got a great, but because we were quite dominant against them, you didn't really see too much of that. So this season, our away fans have been maybe the best in the country. Unbelievable. I went to a few away games and just won't stop singing. I don't know what's going to us. It's not Highbury the library anymore, home or away.
Long may it continue.
Yeah, well, I
Long
think
may it
because what you've got now, you've got the youth coming through who are hungry. You know, we haven't had success for X amount of years, so the youth are hungry, and you get that hunger through not winning. You become complacent when we start winning with Wenger's teams as well. A lot of the fans were complacent. You know, us and Man United were at loggerheads with each other all the time, so we got a little bit complacent. But the kids got a 20-year-old kid. Look, Aidan's a perfect example, born a few weeks after the Invincibles. You know, so he's never seen an Arsenal Championship or Premiership winning team. So they're hungry. I see it in my son as well. Although my son's 31, the hunger for more. I mean, this year was such a chance, but I think he'll come. I think he'll come in the next 2-3 years.
Inshallah, inshallah. Aidan, you had a really good question around the Invincibles. And I think given Ahmet's vast loyalty and the amount of games he's seen, do you want to pose that question to Ahmet? It'll be interesting to see Ahmet's response in terms of the comparison between the Invincibles and the club now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so as someone who's seen them both, you know, what do you think? How far off are we from that kind of quality? How would you compare the two, and how would you compare, you know, the competitiveness in the league between, you know, 2004 and now?
They've got a lot to catch up yet. The Invincibles, if you look at it, we had men in place. There weren't many There weren't. I don't know if there were any teenagers or in their early 20s. Freddie came in late as a younger one, but they were all quite mature. They're mature players who were playing, whether it was Bergkamp or Thierry Henry, Robbie Perez. You know, the boys at the back, Sol Campbell, for instance, Kolo Toure. You know, Ashley Cole, for me, the greatest left back that England's ever had and Arsenal have ever had. You know, so we had that. These boys, maybe in 2-3 years' time, they can reach that. But to become another Bergkamp or a Henry, that's taking it a bit. Yeah, I think this team has got potential, of course. Let's see. Let's do another one of these in 2-3 years' time, and it might be your question will answer itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good question, Aidan.
Yeah.
Ahmet, there's been some discussion. Obviously, Man City have kind of just, I'll say, win. Some people are saying bought the treble, but I don't want to sound bitter. But in terms of the achievement, obviously, you know, we congratulate Man City. It's an incredible achievement.
Absolutely.
But on social media, we're saying this to Aidan before in the kind of green room, if you like, that there's still a lot of football fans who draw a comparison to what Arsenal have achieved in the Invincibles, managing to remain unbeaten throughout the whole season. Because, you know, City and Man United, so there's now two teams that have done the treble, but no one has ever actually gone the whole season. So, I mean, you know, how significant is that? And do you think it will ever be done again?
Whether it be done again, it could be done. But even Sir Alex Ferguson said, you know, that was some achievement, you know, to go a whole season. And Wenger did actually, I feel he wanted to be invincible, go a season without being beaten more than winning the Champions League. And it's a difficult one to choose, you know. Champions League, or Invincibles, because we don't have a Champions League, we don't have a European Champions Cup, for instance, and that is for me as a long-time fan, that is the holy grail for me. So it is so difficult to do, but and our critics always go back to you won 26 and you drew 12. Still invincible, still invincible. And personally, for me, the question I was asked a couple of days ago: what's the greatest goal you've ever seen? And for me, it was Patrick Vieira when he scored the second goal against Leicester City to confirm that we were invincible. I've got goosebumps just talking about it. But yeah, for me, that was such an achievement. I knew the significance because of, if you don't mind me saying, my knowledge of Arsenal Football Club and my knowledge of pre-Premiership football as well. So it is very significant. We're the only ones with a gold Premiership trophy.
True. That's very true. That's very true. I think it's going to be difficult to emulate.
It will be difficult, even for Man City, because
Yeah.
the competition
Yeah.
will be stepped up next season as well. Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea might make something. So let's Liverpool will be back.
Yeah.
So
Well, Brentford done a double over City this year, incredibly. So
it's nuts. That is nuts. Good old Brentford.
all right. I think what I'm going to touch on now is a little bit of transfer speculation, and I'll quickly talk about the players who possibly might be leaving. There's
Yep.
Jorginho's been linked with going to Italy with Lazio.
Yeah.
Balogun, who I've got a lot of time for, he's heavily linked with moving to AC Milan.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's quite strong links with Arsenal and AC Milan. I think the former CEO, Gazidis, is now at AC Milan, or he was at AC Milan. And Tierney's being looked at by Newcastle. So there could be some changes. And Emil Smith Rowe as well. It would be really sad to see any of the Hale End boys, as you put it, Ahmet, leave, because those people, those kids absolutely love Arsenal.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Emil does. But if you don't mind me saying, I predicted that. I could see in the season he wasn't really trusting Emil. I know he had an injury for majority of the season, but when he came back, even in the games, he wasn't sending him on like he was last season to maybe change the game. He was leaving it till 3 minutes before the end, 5 minutes before the end. I don't know if Emil is similar to Jack Wilshere in that Arsenal maybe feel that he's not ever going to be 100% fit for the whole of the season. And I actually did predict that. I felt that he might be a make weight if Declan Rice comes to Arsenal.
Yeah, possibly.
Unfortunately, we love our Halen boys. We love our Halen boys. But sometimes, we're the emotional part of it. Whereas Mikel Arteta, he sees them day in, day out. Maybe he feels, I don't know. But
Mikel was shown he doesn't, he will do what's right for the club. He didn't think twice about getting rid of Aubameyang.
Whereas Wenger would be more emotionally enwrapped in a player. Arteta doesn't seem to be like that, thankfully.
No, definitely. Aidan, who would you like to see? There's a lot of transfer speculation about players coming to Arsenal. Who would you like to see come in to strengthen the squad?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned the striker position before, I think it would have been it would be nice to get in that kind of clinical finisher. Now, not necessarily as a new signing, but I'm really hoping that Balogun does not end up going to AC Milan. I don't know why a lot of Arsenal fans believe that we should be trying to look for someone like Trentan Vlahovic from Juventus or Osimhen from Napoli. I think we have a great and unbelievable striker, who has a contract tied to Arsenal right now. Why splash more cash for that striker position? I think he needs to be given a chance. And as you said, Ahmed Abi, we're not in a big rush to win the league. we don't have to win it next
Yeah.
season,
No,
so why
no.
not give Balogun a go? And that money can be spent on someone like Declan Rice, or I also rate Moises Caicedo quite highly. I think he had a great season for Brighton.
Mm. Wasn't
I
Balogun?
couldn't put that better myself,
Yeah,
Aidan.
spot on, Ida.
It's as if you've read my brain exactly that. I did.
Thank you.
Wasn't
Exactly
he
that.
top scorer in France?
I
Uh,
don't think he was
he
top
missed
goal scorer,
out
but he scored 21 goals.
third.
The only thing about Balogun is he's super duper confident to the point where you think it's arrogance. I don't know if you guys have seen
Yeah.
have you seen that on YouTube where he comes over, he's ready, super confident. I'd love Balogun to be given a go now. Eddie's a good player. Again, as I say, Haaland boy from Chelsea. But I would love Balogun to be maybe, if not the main man, number 2 after Jesus. And to be honest with you, Jesus isn't an out-and-out goal scorer, whereas Valerian Balogun is.
Interesting. I think a lot of Arsenal fans, I think most Arsenal fans would agree, but I think Balogun has split some.
Yeah, well, the thing with the split is, people listening to the media and trying to copy the media instead of making up their own minds, if you don't mind me saying. Like, as Aidan said, Vlahovic and Osimhen, perfect. Osimhen more than Vlahovic. Vlahovic, the reason that I don't think Arsenal will go for him, because he used Arsenal to get his move to Juventus. And I don't know if Arsenal would go. I think now he would fly to Arsenal if Arsenal wanted him. He would love to be at Arsenal rather than Juventus at the moment, because we're going places and Juventus are not.
Yeah, it's a good analysis. Oh man, right. Well, I mean, Ilkay Gundogan's contract is up at City.
Interesting.
Brilliant captain.
Interesting.
He's, I don't know, Barcelona are heavily linked with him, but Arsenal has also been reported. Is it a realistic chance of him coming to the Emirates, do you think?
I'd love him there. Straight away, Jorginho looks like he's going back to Italy. Can you imagine Ilkay coming to Arsenal? He's just won the treble. Come here, nurture some of our kids. Such an intelligent footballer. I'd love him there.
It's an exciting prospect.
I agree.
It really is.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I'm going to throw some names at you. I'm going to give you 2 names each of Arsenal players, and I want you to say whether we should sell them, keep them, or loan them. Right?
Okay.
I'm going to start with you, Reece Nelson.
Oh, definitely keep.
Right.
Reece has come on, not just that goal that he scored or the 2 goals that he scored. There is an attitude to Reece at the moment, whether it's on the left or on the right. You see when he comes on, his touch. I can see why teams from Europe were really looking at him. His touch is. I don't think Arteta will let him go. I wouldn't. Certainly wouldn't. Definitely in the squad for me at least. And what I'd like to see, because Bukayo Saka was overplayed again this year. I'd like to see Reece come into more games when maybe Saka, if we're 2 up, or if we're playing Tottenham away these easy games, he can put Reece Nelson in.
Well, I'm going to get loads of Tottenham fans complaining about my podcast now. Sorry, Spurs fans.
Sorry, guys, but you know what it is.
It's a cheap shot, mate, but we do like him on it. Okay. What about Kieran Tierney? Sell, keep, or loan?
Very tough. Very, very tough. I think I was really hoping you didn't give me Tierney, but I'll give you my answer. I think it's unfortunately gonna have to be sell, and not because I don't rate him so highly as a player, but I think he's not as reliable fitness-wise. And if we could sell him, maybe get 30-40 million and go and potentially buy Cancelo from Man City. Seems like he's fallen out with Pep, and that would be a great buy.
Yeah.
So I think it'd have to be South for me.
I mean, what about that slot though? Because Tomiyasu as well. Is that the same side as Tierney, or is that the other side?
No, that would be on the right.
Right. I mean, what about Tomiyasu, Ahmet?
Yeah,
I personally think it looks like he's going to be injury prone. I don't know whether he's going to get over this. There's even word I've heard that Cedric could be back.
Oh, Suarez.
Yeah, Cedric could be back because we need cover in the right back position, which we didn't have. Because it looks like Tomiyasu is still going to be out till about November. So I think that if I was to say keep or let go, I would let go. But no one's going to buy him when he's injured, so he'll be staying on.
Okay. Sticking with you, Ahmet, Eddie Nketiah, sell or loan?
I'm going to be like Arteta and I'll say sell. I would bring Balogun in, and I would even go for another striker. I'd love got another goal scorer, as Aidan said earlier. We have been missing that pivotal player at the top of the Christmas tree to put the ball in the back of the net.
Okay. And the last one I done, Thomas Partey. Do we keep him, sell him, or loan him?
I think it's gonna have to be a keep. Maybe we get one or two more midfielders, but it would be a big shame to see Thomas Partey go. And I could see it being a scenario where we sell him, he goes somewhere, and it comes to bite us in the back, and he ends up performing amazing against one of our rivals. For one of our rivals against us. Sorry. So no, I think it's definitely a keep.
Yeah,
I'd keep him for the changing room as well. He's good. He's good in the changing room as well, Thomas Partey.
yeah. I wouldn't have put his name into the mix, but there's been quite a lot of speculation.
No, I think you were right to put it in there because it is one of those.
Yeah, there's been a fair bit of speculation. All right, listen, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. I hope Arsenal fans across the different places across the world are enjoying the discussion. There's some really nice thoughts and memories being shared. Just on we've I want to touch on the season tickets because obviously the renewals have gone out, and I believe there's been a change, a reduction in the. I think the prices have stayed the same, but there's a reduction in the number of cup games. Season tickets. Ticket holders can go to, which effectively is an increase in the price. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Right. We're getting 19 league games and 3 cup games instead of 19 league games and 7 cup games. So the first 3 cup games were predominantly because the FA Cup. So it would be the 3 Champions League games that we would get part of the season ticket deal. And then after that, if we progress into the knockout stages and the FA Cup, then the season ticket holders would get first option on their seats. Right. And the other thing that season ticket holders are talking about at the moment is only being able to get into the stadium with your ticket on your phone, in your phone's wallet. Whether it's transferable or it's not transferable, they're trying to get rid of ticket touts. But ticket touts only need to buy a £30 smartphone, and it's on there. It's on there, So Arsenal, I don't know what they're going to do with the ticket tout situation because there aren't enough tickets to go around. You know that, Fevzi. Silver members weren't getting tickets this last season. Red members, forget it. And Arsenal have to address this. They really have to address this. Whether in some way they can lessen the allocation for away fans. But what's happening with the new season tickets is if you don't go to 17 of those games, I think it's 17, you'll be questioned about your season ticket at the end of the season.
Correct. Well, I thought it was a little bit cheeky of the club because obviously we've had some barren times in the last few years.
Yeah.
And now that there's a level of excitement and expectation.
Yeah.
Clubs seem to be bringing in all this new criteria, which I think is a little bit cheeky.
It is
You know,
cheeky.
but obviously the waiting list is growing, and Premiership football is in demand. I mean, no disrespect to West Ham, but when they moved to the London Stadium, I know that some fans were wondering how many fans would attend. And fair play to West Ham,
Yeah.
brilliant. They won a European
Yeah.
Cup today. They sell their home games week in, week out. So football is a massive of interest, and it isn't just football fans here. There's people who come from abroad.
Well, West Ham is a really, really good subject. West Ham's fan base is phenomenal. The West Ham, I believe, are the third best supported team in London. I don't know the statistics. I don't know the numbers. It feels to me Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham, in sort of like fan bases, then Chelsea. I don't know whether some of the Chelsea boys watching this might dispute that. Probably will dispute that. But West Ham have just got incredible fan base out towards Essex, and they've got the whole of Essex anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
okay,
interesting.
All right. So I'm going to give you final thoughts. I'll come with you. Next season, there's going to be a lot of expectation on the back of this season. Let's be realistic about what we say. But do you think Arsenal can go one step further, or is it another situation whereby we're going to look to consolidate? What do you think will happen next year? It's almost like the floodlight.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I think Arsenal fans, as the mug comes up as well. As Arsenal fans, we can only believe in our club, and we can only, push for the very top. So I don't think we should be encouraging anything less than challenging for the title. I'm not saying we must win it. It will be a disappointment if we don't. I think there's a big difference in that, but I think it's important that we do push for it, and we don't, think any less of ourselves for not winning it this season. We should be proud of what we've achieved this season, the big jump we've made, and we should try and keep taking steps forwards.
Okay, brilliant. Ahmet, final thoughts with you, my fellow Gooner.
Yep. I think it depends a little bit on Man City. If there's an aftermath of winning the treble, if Pep, we've got to really hope that Manchester City don't perform anything like they did this season. I can't really see us winning the league next season. Challenging, yeah, fantastic. I think we will challenge. What that challenge will be, because the first half of this season we were just untouchable practically. So it'd be very difficult to have that type of first half of the season again. But yeah, a year more experience. If we get a couple of players in younger legs like Declan and Casado, for instance, let's say, then yeah, there's a possibility of it. I think we'll challenge, but how deep that challenge will be, I'm not so sure. I think it all depends on City, I think.
Mm. And European Champions League football is
we've got Champions
obviously
League football. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Back at the Emirates.
Nice away game. You choose the City.
Okay, everyone, you've been watching Bandofla. This is a special episode dedicated to Arsenal fans. I'm really pleased that Ahmet Suleiman and Aydan Nevzat, all the way from Cyprus, have been able to join us and share their thoughts on the questions. Ahmet's a veteran of almost 2,000 Arsenal matches. He's been going for 60 seasons. And Aydan is a Gooner that was born in the season that the Invincibles set those amazing records. Hope you've enjoyed the show. You can follow Bandofla on Twitter @_Bandofla, BANDOFLA, and we're also on YouTube and Spotify. I hope you enjoyed the show. Good night and God bless. Thank you guys very much for joining.
Thank you. Take care, Aidan.
Thank you.